Hello everyone and welcome back to Pod and Plan Entertainment. My name is Chris and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rank them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today we are going to be talking about Wonder Woman 1984. So, this whole night, I saw this movie tonight. You're getting this review the next night after though. But this was not the best night for me. When I was driving to the theater, I accidentally ran a red light. And so I'm just praying to God I don't get a ticket in the mail now. Then we got in the theater, me and my girlfriend. We met a couple of our friends there. And this guy was rude to my friend for no reason. And then I watched Wonder Woman 1984. This movie was not that good. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and write my score. So I forgot to do that before. Look, I love the first Wonder Woman. I think that is a fantastic movie. I really love it. And I really wanted to love this too. I really didn't. My girlfriend loved it. She told me she thought it was like a 10 out of 10. So I'm glad that she got some enjoyment out of this. But, wow. This was not good. It just wasn't, man. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say it sucked. But it was not good. Wow. That was disappointing. That was pretty disappointing. Alright. I got this new book here for Christmas. Although this is a lot more difficult to write notes in, so I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stick with. But I also got this cool Star Wars pen. Anyways. So, Wonder Woman 1984 stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal. It was directed by Patty Jenkins. And I'm not going to read the producers for this because I did not have enough room on the page to write them. So, I'm going to figure out a way to use this book, though. I'm going to figure out a way. I gotta figure out a way to use this book because I really like it. It's really nice. I just gotta figure out how to use it properly. Okay, so let's get into my pros with this movie first before we get into my cons. So the music is really good. Hans Zimmer composed the music for this movie, and it's really, really good. One of the things I liked about this movie is that Chris Pine, who, in case you don't know, he comes back in this movie. If you want to know the plot for this movie, it's basically there's this magic rock that grants wishes and people are trying to get it and whatever. Anyways, I don't really care because it's not that good. Anyway, so Chris Pine is actually useful in this movie, right? He could have so easily been a damsel in distress, but he actually is helpful to Wonder Woman. He's a good sidekick, which I appreciated. This movie nerfs Wonder Woman, so she's not like this invincible Ultra Lord, which I appreciated. You actually do fear for her life at times. The cinematography is really good. The action scenes are filmed really well. The stunts are really good. The special effects are good. The romance between Gal Gadot and Chris Pine is very, very sweet. It was honestly tear-jerking stuff. It was really, really good. They were really good together. They had good chemistry. It was a really beautiful romance. It doesn't overdo the 1980s. This movie so easily could have gone so over the top with Terminator posters everywhere and things like that. It could have so easily just been like cliched 80s, but it actually set the time well. Also, I know this is a weird pro, but I like the posters for this movie. The posters are pretty nice. Pedro Pascal was really good in this movie, and this movie doesn't shy away from emotion. There's some really good emotion in this. That's about all I can say. That's good. Let's get into my cons because I do have quite a few. So, Kristen Wiig's character is so cliched, overdone, and overused. She is a clumsy nerd. And we've seen this 1,000 times in comic book movies. We don't need this character again. Okay? And then, we've seen this 1,000 times in movies as well. She changes her clothes at some point in the movie, and then she's beautiful. This movie also, unfortunately, does have some feminazi messages in it. There are some a few moments in this movie where it's like, okay, we get it, all men are bad, please move on. Like, one of the things I loved about the first movie was that it didn't do that. This movie, unfortunately, you are going to have to sit through some men are bad messages. Unfortunately, it does have that. It's not near as good as the first movie. I already said that. The first two opening scenes of this movie are very typical. All right, the first one, even though it was really good, we've seen it before. It shows a flashback of her as a kid doing something impressive. We've seen that in superhero movies before. We don't need it again. And then the second one, she stops a robbery. When she's an adult in 1984, she stops a robbery. We've seen that 1,000 times before from superhero movies as an opening scene. We don't need it again. We don't need it again. Stop doing this. Please stop. Okay. Also, the first scene is completely pointless because it sends this message about don't cheat, right? Because she kind of cheats a little bit in this competition, right? She shows off how good she is as a kid in this competition with the other women on the island. And the message you get from it is don't take shortcuts. This message never comes back into play in the film. So what even was the point? This movie has some serious pacing issues as well. Some serious pacing issues. It really drags in the middle of the movie. I wouldn't go as far as to say I was ever bored, but this movie, the pacing in this movie is awful. Awful. There's also a plot convenience scene where she and Chris Pine are flying a jet, and they're like, oh no, what do we do? These guys are going to catch it. The military's going to catch us because radar and stuff. And then she's like, oh, well, my dad one time before he died, he showed me how to turn things invisible. And he's like, well, do that. She's like, I did it once with a coffee mug. And then, of course, she does it on a freaking jet. Imagine if Luke Skywalker had picked up the X-Wing out of the lake on his first try. That's basically what this felt like. And it was such a plot convenience. It's like, oh, this special power that you never mentioned before. You suddenly have that, and that would be so convenient for this moment right now. We'll do it! Also, I don't know if this is how this works or not, but just because the jet's invisible, does that mean they can't track it through radar anymore? Somebody explain. Chris Pine's character in this movie makes no sense. So basically, he's weird. Okay, so he's in the movie, but he doesn't look like Chris Pine. To everyone else, he looks like this random dude. But Chris Pine is in the movie so that we as the audience see Chris Pine, even though nobody else in the movie does. We see, all the characters see this different guy while we, the audience, see Chris Pine. So, what's with this dude? Why is he in his body? We know he's an actual person that he's in. He's inside this guy's body. So this guy basically disappears off the face of the earth while Chris Pine is in his body. Why is he in his body in the first place? What does this mean? Why is this happening? It's never explained. It makes no sense. This movie also, of course, you know how in a movie when the characters are stumped and they need help and they go to this random person who knows all about this. He's like an expert on this thing. And so they go to him and he opens up like a book or something. He's like, look, in the ancient times, see, blah, 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 blah. Well, this movie does have that. And they go to this guy who explained the wishing rock to them. And he's there for 5 minutes. He does his job for the plot convenience. And then you never see him again. Okay, so so basically at the end of this movie, and this is kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this, you can just skip ahead in the video if you want. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but Pedro Pascal is like this, he's like this businessman, right? He's this failing businessman, right? And so he becomes the wishing rock. Right, and at the end of the movie, he figures out that he can. If you can grant a wish to him if you touch him, And so he figures out that he can grant everybody in the world's wishes by using these satellites, where the particles of these satellites somehow go through the TV and touch them. And if he's on TV, therefore it's like he's touching them. And so if they say a wish, it's like he can grant their wishes. Okay. Cool. And then everybody revokes their wish because Gal Gadot gave this emotional speech. Everyone in the world, keep this in mind. This movie has quite a bit of plot holes. And it never shows you what happens to the villains. You don't find out. You never find out. You know what? Even after reading all that, I kind of like this movie even less now. I'm going to give Wonder Woman 1984 a 60. It's watchable, but, you know, tomorrow I'm probably going to hate this movie. When I wake up, I'm probably going to wake up and be like, dude, that was like a 40. That was not good. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the more I think about this movie, I'm probably going to actually start to like it less and less and less. Because there are some movies where I watch them and I think, that was okay. And then the more I think about it, I'm like, dude, that was really freaking bad. And I can give you a perfect example of that, too. The Rise of Skywalker. When I first saw this movie, I thought, eh. And the more I thought about it and the more I saw it, I thought, dude, this was really freaking bad. This movie sucks, okay? It sucks. That's the best example that I could think of, and I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be like that for me. I think as the more I think about this movie, I'll probably start to like it less and less and less, and I'm going to think, why was I even that generous to give this movie a 60? But as it sits, I'm going to give it a 60. Yeah, that was not that good. I gotta say, I'm really disappointed. If you haven't seen the first Wonder Woman, watch it. It's amazing. This movie is not that good. Yeah. Yeah, that was disappointing. I can't believe I paid money to see it in IMAX. I should have just saw it in standard. It was not worth it. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Pirate Player Entertainment for more. Hit the like button. Hang on. I had a swallow spit. Leave movie review suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Pirate Player Entertainment for channel updates, and much love.